Hello, family. I just want to say welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been quite some time, you guys. I'm so sorry for the delay. You guys know I be doing 1,000 things. That is no excuse. I'm getting it together, you guys. I have so much going on, and life happens. Life comes at you fast. Today I'm gonna start my black love series. I'm gonna be doing black celebrity couples, and today I'm gonna do a mashup. I know this is pretty late timing. It's about 10 o'clock where I am. Um, so hopefully, you guys are tucked into bed, you're relaxed, and you're listening to this awesome reading that I'm about to do. The first couple that I'm gonna do is Ti and Tiny. I've been interested in doing them ever since I saw their segment on Red Table Talk because I felt like it was so much that Spirit wanted to say pertaining to them. So I'm gonna allow them to be my first reading and see what comes out. I've always been a fan of Tamika's since Escape. I believe she has an amazing voice. I'm a fan of her voice. I must admit, I'm guilty. T.I., I was a fan of his in high school. I had a crush on him. I thought he was cute. And then I came to the realization that this man is a narcissist. And, I kind of couldn't rock with old boy no more. But yeah, we're gonna do this reading and see what pops out about them. Immediately, I'm tapping into this relationship is a relationship of a lot of pain, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of turmoil. They've gone through some things, as all couples have and will. Um, I'm getting general unhappiness, mostly on Tamika's part, though. She's hasn't been truly happy in some years like this, but they're getting back to that place. They're in a really good place right now. The unhappiness that I'm speaking on is um, before they got to where they are currently. And they've been good for about, Spirit is telling me, possibly about a year now. They've been in a place of healing, a place of therapy, a place of rearranging in their dynamics. And off bat, I can tell you that there's a lot of mistrust in this relationship, but this is mostly coming from Tiny. She's like, I don't trust him. And that's one of the issues that is in their marriage. And they both have done, wrong. This is not a one sided situation because I see where Tip has cheated physically, but Tiny has also, done some flirting and teasing and that sort of thing. She hasn't cheated physically, but she's done some flirting and teasing, here and there, just to, even if it's been to make Tip jealous. And they're both pretty stubborn, like they can be pretty stubborn and set in their ways. I also see where Tip is a narcissist, off rip, as I said before. He's a very demeanoring energy. He definitely takes control in this relationship. Um, yeah, but Tiny, she's used to that sort of thing. Before she got in the relationship with Tip, I can see where she was also dating another guy who was a street dude. So she's used to that type of energy, from her spouse. So it sounds like, what is Tip is he definitely wears the pants in the relationship, and he's kind of the type of guy who wants his woman in the background. He's not. He wants her in the background. I feel like this is an agreement that they had in the beginning of their relationship where Tamika would kind of stay in the background and not really work, not really be in the limelight. This was something that she agreed to This was something that she knew he wanted, in his mate, and she agreed to that. Even though it brought her much unhappiness, because he also asked her to quit singing. That was also something that he demanded from her, and she agreed to it, but that was something that caused her a lot of unhappiness because she loves singing. That's a passion that she has. That's something that she really enjoys doing. So to when she put that on hold for this marriage, it really brought her a lot of sadness. I see. But she did it for him. She really loves him and she really wanted to, um, because she's very submissive. I get a very submissive energy from her. She's very submissive in her relationships. She's very submissive to her man. She's very submissive to what he wants. But she's no pushover either. Don't get it twisted. She's no pushover. She's very firm in how she feels and what she has to say. And I also get a feeling from spirit that she's tired. She's like, I'm tired. She's tired of the bullshit. She's just at a place where she feels like it's all or nothing. She's at her wits end with things as they are. And I also see where Tip, he knows how to draw her back in. He knows how to suck her back in because she's been out the door so many times in this marriage. She's been ready to go. She's been ready to leave, but he knows how to suck her back in. He knows how to make her feel as though he's going to make changes and he's going to do things differently, which I feel this is the first time that he genuinely is trying to change. He's trying to do things differently. He's trying to please her because she scared him when she went and filed for divorce. She scared him when she did that, and that was the first time he felt like he might really lose his wife. So he really took the necessary steps to show her that he wanted to change and he wanted his family because she was truly ready to go. She felt like she had been the good wife. She had tempered down. She had kind of held herself back for him, and she felt like I hear her saying he's ungrateful. Nothing's good enough for him. She feels like nothing is good enough for him because she feels like she makes a lot of sacrifices for him and their marriage and their relationship. But I also hear him saying, but that's what you signed up for. So it's kind of like he feels like, this is, I told you what it was in the beginning, and he did. He was very honest with her. I get that energy. But she felt like, she think that as they got older, that he should, things would change, and he would grow with her, and eventually he would kind of loosen up. But I see that he felt like things were good like they were. He also feels like the downfall of their marriage or their dynamic, because I do see where there's a period where um, the dynamic of their relationship changed. I saw in the beginning where when they first met, it was a fire. It was like a very whirlwind romance. They fell in love very quickly. I see where, they had a lot of fun together. They have a very best friend dynamic. But at some point that changed. It kind of soured at some point. And I feel like Tip is telling me he feels like things kind of soured when the public came into their marriage. He's saying when people began to speak on our marriage and have an opinion about it, that's when things changed because she began to change. He's saying that it's almost as if in the beginning of the relationship, she was more open, she was more fun with him. They would have threesomes. They would engage in a lot of spontaneous sex. They had a lot of fun. They were very kinky, open. She almost like a homie, best friend, lover vibe. That's how things started off. And he's saying that something changed. She began to kind of shut down the idea of threesome. She no longer wanted to do that. She no longer was fun anymore, is what he's saying. And he's saying that when the public kind of got involved and, they started having an opinion and she felt like people were judging them, that's when she began to kind of, not want to do those things anymore. She wanted to cut it off. But Tiny's telling me that that's not what happened. She feels like the relationship changed when he began to stifle her. She really wanted to do music, and that's something that he adamantly held her back from, and she began to kind of resent that. As she got older, she said, "I feel like my life passed me by. I was sitting at home being a mom and a wife, and I wasn't being me anymore. I wasn't Tamika anymore." She's saying, "I lost myself." I can hear her saying that to me. Um, and she also felt like he was ungrateful. She's saying that, he went too far. She's saying that even though they were having threesomes here and there, he began to kind of go out and cheat, and the cheating began to. She said it began to get out of control. She said to get a little excessive. He was cheating very frequently. Is what she's saying. Because I can see where Tamika's telling me. She says, "I'm a very understanding woman." She's saying, "I'm the type of woman that I understand what comes with the business." So I get the feeling that, she kind of gives him a little leeway because she knows that he's a musician and he gets women throwing themselves at him. So she understands the nature of the business, and I think that she gives him a little bit of leeway. But she's saying at one point he kind of got out of control and he just began to run rampant. She's like, he began to get, no, she's also saying that he began to get disrespectful towards me and I wasn't having it. That's kind of what she's saying to me. So that's when the dynamic of the marriage changed. And they both have different feelings on what they felt like changed the dynamics of the marriage as well. Because I also see where there's other tensions that causes strife in a marriage. I see where parenting is an issue for them as well. Their parenting styles is very, very different. Um, he's saying that she babies them too much. He feels like Tamika babies the children too much. I can also see where she feels like he's too hard on the children as well. And I also see where I feel like Tip and Zanique butt heads also. I feel like they butt heads as well. I see where he's saying that she got too grown. So he feels like at some point Zanique got a little too grown. I see where he also said that she began smoking. He's telling me that she began smoking weed. She began drinking. She began getting into some adult things that he didn't approve of. He's saying, and Tamika knew about it. So he's saying that Tamika knew she was doing these things, and she kind of, you know, didn't really take it too seriously, whereas he felt it was unacceptable. I also see where she began also having sex. He's saying he didn't approve of that either. He's saying that she began to want to have boys to the house, and he's saying that he was not going to allow that to happen. He's saying, and that's when she moved out. So that was an issue for him and Tamika. They really butted heads about that because I can see where Tamika's saying, "My baby wasn't ready to move out. I wanted her to stay at home." So they kind of had issues about that. I also get a feeling that one of the daughters is a lesbian. I'm getting the energy that this may be Deja. I get the feeling that Deja may be a lesbian. I also see where there's like some button they butt heads here and there. Him and King, they butt heads here and there a lot. I can also see where King may kind of give him a little bit of trouble here and there. He's very strong minded, very opinionated, very spoiled, very entitled. I can see some behaviors in him that Tip doesn't like. So they butt heads a lot about that. I also feel like they're working very hard to understand one another more, because there was also communication issues going on in the marriage as well. But they're working on that, and they're working on better ways to talk to one another and deal with each other. Because I feel like one of the issues that Tamika had with him is she felt like he didn't open up enough. He's also very guarded as well when it comes to his emotions. And he's very stubborn. Like, if he makes up his mind about something, he usually doesn't change it, he doesn't budge. So he's very bullheaded, and he's very one way. He is his way or the highway. And he likes to throw his weight around a lot. So that's an issue as well. And that really gets on her nerves. She also feels like he embarrasses her. She feels like he doesn't respect her, you know, in public. He embarrasses her as well in public, and she has a problem with that. They argue about this often. This is an issue that really comes up between the two of them a lot. But I also see where he kind of views her as property. Like, I feel like he looks at her like she's almost as if she's property, like she's mine. I can hear him saying that she's mine, and he is not going to divorce her. Like, he really has his mind set. Right now in this moment, the energy that I'm getting from him is that he really has his mindset on making this marriage work. It's like, no, I'm not giving her up. I'm not going to allow anybody else to have her. I'm not starting over. I'm not leaving my marriage. We're this is it. We're together, and we're going to stay together forever for the rest of our lives. This is my wife. Nobody else can have her. She is mine. That is the energy that I'm getting from him. With her, I feel like more of a fed up energy. I also feel like she's halfway out the door, like one foot in, one foot out. And she's on some, like, you're either going to love me correctly or just leave me alone, period. That's her energy. And he really is working and striving to kind of be better for her and be more of what she needs. But he also struggles with his ego, because I feel like he has an ego problem as well. Also feel like he has an ego problem, and he's very insecure. He has insecurities as well, so that also kind of plays a lot into his characteristics. But I also feel like he does this with all of his girlfriends. Like, he did this with an ex. I'm getting the feeling that this is Deja's mother. He also um, kind of told her she couldn't do music anymore either. So I'm getting the feeling that this isn't just a thing that he does with Tamika. This is something that he does with all of his relationships. He kind of shuts down their independence. It's like, I'll take care of you. I'll provide for you. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. That's the energy that he brings to the relationship. And they go for it at first, but then they start filling that void because she's heavily into music. So she really misses doing that. And she got to the point where she felt like she was getting older and life was kind of passing her by. So it was the energy of it's now or never for me to kind of jump back into it. And then she was also doing this girl group at first. She was doing the OMG girls, and then she was doing the older girl group, the Juice Girl group. She was doing this at first, and she was doing this to kind of fill that void that she was getting from not being able to sing and do music herself. But I feel like these groups that she was kind of doing and the songwriting that she was doing, it wasn't really filling that void for her because she really is a singer at heart. You know, that's her gift, and it's her passion, and so she was missing that, and she was able to fill that void for a split second, just doing the groups, but it wasn't enough to completely fill that void of wanting to sing, and so they power struggled over that for quite some time as well. And I also get the feeling that he felt like he was protecting her by kind of not allowing her to be in the spotlight and by not allowing her to sing because I think he feels like he knows that the industry can be cruel, social media can be cruel. And I think he felt like he was shielding her from critique and judgment and people's, what people would have to say as well. But they're not completely out of the woods yet. I get the energy that they're not 100% out of the woods yet. They still kind of go through their own little issues. You know, they're still battling through their obstacles, their marital obstacles. So they're not 100% out of the woods. You know, he's still he's still battling his ego. He's still battling um, giving up a little bit of control because it's killing him to give up any type of control. That's something that's very big for him. So he's struggling with that a lot, but he's really afraid of losing his wife, so he's really trying to conform, but it's a really big issue for him. He's not um, the best at doing that. So, but energetically, I feel a lot of love between the two of them. I feel like they love each other a great deal. Like they have a really deep bond, almost like for the rest of my life, I'll have his back and he'll have mine. That's the energy that I'm getting from the both of them. But he feels like he's too old to be starting over, and I also hear him, spirit telling me, him saying that, I married her, and I had no intentions on ever getting married. So, I kind of broke my own rule because it's kind of like she gave him an ultimatum. I feel like she kind of gave him it's we're either getting married or we're not going to be together. She got to the point where she wanted marriage, by any means. She felt like you're going to marry me or we're not going to be together anymore. And when he got out of jail, this is when he got out of jail after doing that time. Um, she kind of gave him that ultimatum and he decided to marry her. He said, I would not have gotten married otherwise. I didn't want to get married. It wasn't something that was a goal for me. So he's saying that, now that I am married and I made that decision, I plan on staying married. It's, divorce is not an option for me. I'm sorry, you guys. I know you heard my babies in the in the background, but yes. So he's saying divorce is not an option for me. I made the decision to get married, and I'm going to stay married. So I do not see divorce in the near future for them at all. I feel like they are going to stay married for many more years to come, at least the next 5 years. They will continue to be married. He is adamant that he is not going to divorce his wife. He's saying that it's my wife, we are a family, and we are going to stay a family, period. We're not divorcing, that it's not going to happen. And she's also determined to stay with her husband as well because she does love him, but she's not a fan of a lot of his ways. She feels like he's very old fashioned in his thinking, and she wishes that he would open up, a lot more. And he is slowly, very slowly, but surely, he is trying to do that. But she wishes, he would do it a lot faster and, open up a little more, a lot sooner.
I don't understand how niggas can.
But my apologies, family. But yes, this is a very sealed, signed, and delivered marriage. This is not going anywhere. This is kind of written in stone. I think that I can hear Spirit saying from his end, we work, we fit, we go good together. Um, we know each other. We know each other inside and out. I don't have to guess anything with her. This is truly my partner. This is truly my soulmate. And he's like, I'm not starting over with anyone else. She knows me, and that's what it is. This is the woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, and grow old with, and raise our grandchildren with. But again, I do feel that the other daughter is a lesbian, so I do feel like that's something that they're going to have to deal with. But of course, they're going to embrace her with love, as any parent would. And they have a pretty smooth. They have they don't have too many problems financially. I get the feeling that they make really sound investments, and they have steady income, so they don't argue about finances. They don't have any type of issues with that. Outside of, of course, sometimes he feels like she kind of goes a little overboard with spending, on the children, but that's just normal household stuff. Other than that, they really mesh when it comes to making business decisions. They mesh very well with that. They make very good business decisions, and they make really good money together. Like they consult each other on everything. They're each other's confidants. They talk to each other about everything. They have very open and good communication, but it's more of a dictatorship. He's very authoritative in having the final say so in the household. And she gives him that. Again, she's very submissive to him. She's not going to overpower him in what he says. It's important to her that she honors what he says. And I also get the feeling that he has a problem with how generous she is, because I get the feeling that she's very generous, with money, and that's towards very close friends and family. But I'm getting the feeling more so he has a problem with her generosity when it comes to close friends. But she's the type that, if she's your friend, she will go to bat for you. She will help you. She will give you financial help. She will give you moral support. She will show up. She will pull up. She's that type of friend, very loyal, very ride or die type of woman. And that's one of the things that really keeps him with her, because he respects her. She lives by a certain code, and she holds steadfast to that. She's 100% solid, and he loves that about her as well. But they've been through a lot. Again, she still battles trust issues towards him, because I also get the feeling that she's had women come to her. She's had women DM her. She's had women call her on the telephone. She's had women pop up at her home. She's had women do some very disrespectful things in the way that they have made their presence known when he has been unfaithful. And I think that she's saying they don't know their place. So that's like her issue when it comes to, she's telling me that that's what changed. That's what changed the dynamics of their relationship. She's saying that he became disrespectful in how he dealt with his infidelities. She's saying he began to get disrespectful. He wasn't coming home, and there was women that were making themselves known. She said that he had stopped, he gotten sloppy and how the blogs were finding out, women were going to the blogs. I apologize. But we're gonna get through this reading, okay? But yes, women were beginning to make themselves known, and they were going to the blogs, and they were just getting really bold, you know, with it. And she was not having that. She said that, you know, he began to embarrass me, and I think that's what changed for her. She felt like he was embarrassing her, and she was not having that. And her friends began to also confront her and approach her like, girl, what's going on? You know, this isn't okay. I see where even her mother, she's saying that even my mother, you know, began to get angry, you know, because her mother is also very protective of her as well. So this became a very real issue, and that is why the dynamic of their relationship changed, because she's saying that he began to get disrespectful, but there's definitely been a lot of they've overcome a lot of marital obstacles. They've been through a lot together. They've really been through a lot together, and their foundation is solid. You know, they really are truly friends first, and I don't see them splitting. You know, at least again for the next 5 years, they're going to remain together. Um, he's adamant about not leaving his wife, and that's that. And she's truly in love with him, you know, still. She's lost a lot of faith, you know, a lot of faith in him. She's very disappointed in him, and um, you know, she's still hurt, you know, by him. But at the end of the day, her love and her devotion to him, I think, outweighs that, and the need for her to want to keep her family together, because family is very important to the both of them strongly. That is one thing that they also have that binds them together. They both have a very strong sense of family about them, and they're determined to keep their family together and to make it work. You know, and that's what keeps them together and coming back to each other. They realize the importance of having their family together and being a unit and moving as one. Um, but yeah, they will remain together for at least the next 5 years, and I see Ti also doing another movie. I would say maybe within the next year or two. I see him doing another movie, and they're not gonna fade too much from the spotlight. They're not going to be as much in the spotlight either. I also see them having a small